City of Tentacles. Chapter 1 The First Encounter of Newcomers. The corridor of City A's first laboratory is always deserted, and the white lights reflect the cold steel texture. The words Biological Anomaly Research Center on the door plate flashed faintly. Lu Chusu, a young breeder who has just joined, has a delicate face, and his eyes are shining with curiosity and uneasiness. She was wearing a neat white coat and holding a bag of fresh food in her hand. Today, the person she serves is the most special existence in the entire center, once the strongest human being, but now she has been transformed into a half-human, half-monster form, with tentacles growing wildly from her lower body, making people smell and change color. In the dark corner of the laboratory, the monster was lying dying, surrounded by broken tentacles, and the wet ground oozing a sticky liquid. Lu Chusu walked over, carefully picked up the largest tentacle among them, with anticipation in his eyes, and asked in a low voice, "Excuse me, can I eat your tentacles?" The monster did not answer, only a faint breathing sound, but as if he understood her words, he slowly stretched out his remaining tentacles and gently touched the back of her hand. Chapter 2 The Secret of the Tentacles. As time passed, Lu Chusu gradually discovered that this monster was not just a mutant creature, but also contained amazing energy and memory in its tentacles. Whenever she chewed her tentacles carefully, she could feel a trace of the power and thoughts of her former owner. These tentacles are like a door to the past, revealing a blocked memory. This monster was once an outstanding young warrior named Li Lan, possessing extraordinary physical skills and mental powers, but was caught up in a forbidden power in an experiment, and his body collapsed, transforming him into what he is today. Lu Chusu was in a struggle. She wanted to help Li Lan recover, but she was afraid of being swallowed up by the power of the mutation. She constantly hovers on the edge of science and humanity. Chapter 3 Lab Intrigue. Behind the first laboratory in City A, there is a deeper darkness. Director Wu Yanghe, a ruthless scientist, is secretly carrying out a dangerous plan, using the tentacle energy of mutant monsters to develop biological weapons that exceed human limits. Wu Yanghe ignored Li Lan's pain and only focused on data and interests. After Lu Chusu discovered his true intentions, he decided to investigate secretly to find clues to crack this conspiracy. However, her actions alerted laboratory security. During a late-night raid, Lu Chusu was captured and faced the danger of disappearing. Chapter 4 The Counterattack of the Tentacles. At the critical moment, Li Lan's half-human, half-monster body suddenly burst out with amazing power. The broken tentacles quickly regenerated and changed shape, forcing the security guards and scientists to retreat. Lu Chusu was shocked by Li Lan's power, and also realized again that this tentacle was not just a symbol of a monster, but a continuation of life. The two cooperated tacitly, and Lu Chusu used the memory guidance of the tentacles to crack a mysterious crystal in the laboratory, which sealed the key to Li Lan's body mutation. Chapter 5 The Choice of Fate. The crystals burst out with dazzling light, and Li Lan's body began to change violently. The tentacles gradually deteriorated, replaced by the boy's original form, although there were still traces of mutation on the skin, but he was full of energy. Li Lan took a deep look at Lu Chusu, his gratitude and reluctance intertwined in his eyes. They knew that the conspiracy in this laboratory was not completely over, and more darkness awaited them. Lu Chusu held Li Lan's hand tightly, determined to work with him to uncover the truth and rewrite the future played by fate. Chapter 6 The Dark Shadow Reappears. Li Lan's figure gradually recovered, but there were still traces of mutations that had not completely dissipated. Lu Chusu carefully cleaned his wounds, but his heart was heavy because of the dark conspiracy in the laboratory. Although the two rely on each other, they understand that the crisis in front of them has not been resolved. At this moment, a dark shadow quietly sneaked into the depths of the laboratory, silently monitoring them. This black shadow is Wu Yanghe's most vicious killer, codenamed Breakless. He accepted the order to capture Li Lan again and bring him back for more cruel research. Li Lan felt a crisis approaching, forcibly suppressed the remaining mutant power in his body, turned into claws and tentacles, and fought desperately in the shadows of the corridor. Lu Chusu used the laboratory's monitoring system on the other side to try to find foreign aid, but was shocked to find that the entire facility had already been controlled by Wu Yanghe and there was nowhere to ask for help. underscore 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 un. Chapter 7 The Fusion of Tentacles and Bloodline. During the fight, Li Lan's mutant tentacles suddenly burst out with strange light, and the power and tentacles in his body mysteriously fused to create a new form, a half-human, half-tentacle warrior, with doubled strength and speed. However, this power does not come without a price. Li Lan felt the tearing of his body and mind, and the pain of the mutation eroded his reason. Liu Chusa saw it in her eyes, and was distressed, and decided to help him balance this power in her own unique way. She began to learn to transform the energy of the tentacles into healing and protective power. The bond between the two has deepened. Li Lan promised that he would no longer just be the subject of experimentation, but would use his own strength to protect Liu Chusa and those innocent lives. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 8 The Rebellion in the Laboratory. With the rise of Li Lan's power, the inside of the laboratory began to shake. Some researchers were dissatisfied with Wu Yanghe's tyranny and secretly contacted Liu Chusa to provide her with important information. Wu Yanghe was preparing to launch an ultimate plan codenamed Eclipse to systematize the entire mutation into an invincible army and dominate City A. Liu Chusa decided to launch a rebellion. She teamed up with Li Lan and conscientious scientists in the laboratory to plan to destroy the core device of the Eclipse. In a dangerous operation, Liu Chusa risks being discovered and infiltrates the core experimental area to race against time in an attempt to put an end to Wu Yanghe's crazy plan. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 9 Crazy Truth. During the operation, Liu Chusa accidentally discovered a sealed database, which recorded the real reason why Li Lan was mutated. It turned out that Wu Yanghe was not only a scientist, but also an agent of otherworldly forces, trying to open the door to another world through mutation experiments. Li Lan is not only the test subject, but also the key to the door. Wu Yanghe wanted to use Li Lan's bloodline power to summon terrifying alien creatures and plunge the human world into endless chaos. This discovery shocked Liu Chusa and made Li Lan fall into deep self-blame and confusion. The two face an unprecedented crisis and must reunite their forces to stop this crossover disaster. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 10 Invasion of Alien Creatures. At the moment when Wu Yanghe launched the Eclipse plan, a black crack exploded in the ceiling of the laboratory, and tentacle monsters from the other world poured out from the crack, instantly flooding the entire facility. Li Lan burst out with all his strength and led Liu Chusa and the rebels in the laboratory to resist the invasion. Tentacles and monsters intertwine in a thrilling battle where darkness and light collide to turn the laboratory into a post-apocalyptic battlefield. Liu Chusa used his understanding of tentacle energy to invent a device that could interfere with the perception of alien creatures and turn the tide of the battle. Chapter 11 The Decisive Battle Before Dawn. The invasion of alien creatures caused panic throughout City A, and the laboratory turned into a human purgatory. Li Lan led the rebels in a desperate fight against the otherworldly tentacles, while Liu Chusa controlled the jamming device from the rear to suppress the enemy's perception. Wu Yanghe appeared. He was wearing a black robe, controlling the dark power of the other world, and his aura was so oppressive that people couldn't breathe. He sneered and mocked Li Lan and Liu Chusa's resistance for being futile. Li Lan knew that it was difficult to fight against Wu Yanghe with his own strength alone, so he forcibly stimulated the combined tentacles in his body and launched the final battle with Wu Yanghe. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 12 Broken Vows. The battle was extremely fierce. Li Lan's tentacles and Wu Yanghe's dark magic were constantly intertwined, the ground collapsed, and the air was filled with a strong smell of sulfur. During the decisive battle, Li Lan fell into crisis several times, and Liu Chusa resolutely rushed into the battlefield, blocking the fatal attack with his body and shedding blood and tears. She held Li Lan's hand tightly and whispered, "No matter what happens, I will not let you go." This sentence was like a dawn in the darkness, rekindling hope in Li Lan's heart, inspiring the strongest strength, and finally defeating Wu Yanghe. But the price of victory was heavy. Li Lan's mutant power was almost exhausted, his body gradually disintegrated, and finally turned into a ray of light and shadow and dissipated into the air. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 13 A New Beginning. The laboratory was completely dismantled after the war, and calm was restored to City A. Liu Chusa, with the memories and power left to her by Li Lan, decided to establish a new organization to study the positive use and control of mutant forces to prevent similar tragedies from happening again. She planted a tree where Li Lan dissipated, which was a symbol of the fusion of tentacles and humans, becoming a symbol of the new life of City A. Lu Chusu transformed from a former girl to a mature and strong leader. She knew that Li Lan's spirit would always live in her heart and inspire her to protect the world. Postscript. It's a story of love and sacrifice, strength and responsibility. The bond between Lu Chusu and Li Lan crosses the boundary between form and the other world, telling us that the power of humanity and hope cannot be swallowed up by mutation. In a world where tentacles are intertwined, darkness and light will always coexist. Everyone can become a monster or choose to be a guardian.